I think the most helpful advice I can offer is summed up: trust the process, but own the content. That may seem obvious, but much like the buy low, sell high approach to investing, it seems a lot easier said than done. All too often, I hear stories from doctoral students who don't want to trust the process or own their content. Trust the process means that it's worthwhile to accept and maybe even embrace the standards and rites of passage that signify your progress as a doctoral student. You may not understand the purpose of the various required activities until after you've done them yourself, but that does not mean they lack purpose. Many of us look back at activities we resisted as doctoral students and see how they were in fact instrumental in pushing us forward to succeed as scholars. We carry on these requirements to give you the same experiences that helped shape our work. It's always fair for you to ask faculty what the purpose is, but try to accept their rationale instead of debating it. Getting a PhD is something you only do once, so how can you evaluate the journey until after you've reached the destination? You have to trust the process even before you can fully understand it. Own the content means that you will find the life of a scholar most rewarding if you invest your time studying issues that are meaningful to you. The topic you pick for your dissertation is probably going to define your main research interests for at least a decade and maybe longer. A great thing about being a scholar is that you have a lot of autonomy to decide what topics you will work on. But frequently, I get asked about hot topics when the questioner should be looking within themselves for the topic on which they can add value and find rewarding for a long time. Let me suggest 3 reasons not to let hot topics define your research agenda. First, I don't really think anyone, even journal editors, has a great sense for what topics are really hot. We're all looking at these things through the lens of our own work, and anyone you ask is going to miss some hot topics in favor of the things they're most interested in themselves. Second, even if we could do that, we'd also need a crystal ball. If you're at the point where you're picking a topic for a research study, you're at least 3 years away from publishing anything. Hot topics can change a lot in 3 years, and what you're really interested in is what's going to be hot in 3 years. As a rough approximation, nobody knows. But third, even if we had crystal balls that worked, you would still need to have a passionate interest in a topic to generate the kind of insights that are going to add value and contribute beyond what everyone else can see. So I think you're better off owning the content yourself, defining what interests you more than everyone else, figuring out which literature can benefit from those insights, and working with people who are willing to support your interests. I think a lot of people think this puts more pressure on themselves to pick the right thing, but I actually think it's the opposite. It takes pressure off, because at least you'll enjoy the topic that you'll spend so much of your life pursuing. One final thought. There are many, many paths to having a fulfilling academic career. All of those paths are challenging but intellectually rewarding, and more importantly, all of those paths have a noble purpose that serves society. If you trust the process and own the content, you can find the path that works best for you.